Yo, this is Jay from Straight Smoke Gaming, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the NFL Draft. As you guys know, the first round was last night, and we had some interesting things here. We had some teams trade up. We've seen Travis Hunter go to the Jags because the Browns traded back. We had teams completely trade out of the first round. So in this video, we're going to be giving every team a grade based on who they picked, if they traded, the trade, all those types of things, all things factored in. So you'll be doing like a report card pretty much for every team. So starting off first, Arizona Cardinals, 16th overall pick. They went ahead and took Walter Nolan, deep tackle out of Ole Miss. I give that as a B. I like Nolan. I think it's good. I think it'll work out well with the Calais Campbell coming back. You get a good vet D tackle to work with a young guy that was already promising. Nolan was my defensive tackle 2, I believe it was, in this class. So I like the pick. I like them going there. Defensive mind head coach should work out well for the Cardinals. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons. They have picks 15 and 26. They traded up with the Rams for pick 26. So at pick 15, they took Jalen Walker, edge/linebacker out of Georgia. And at pick 26, they took James Pierce Jr., edge out of Tennessee. Their grade's an A-. I like the trade. They might have gave up a little bit too much, but I like it in the aspect of they went and addressed their needs. They were really bad at rushing the passer. They got 2 of the best in this draft class. So I think this should work out well for the Falcons. Next up, Baltimore Ravens, 27th overall picks. They took Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia. That's going to be a grade of a C. Reason being is just because positional value. I don't like safeties going in the first, especially because there was other needs. And, the secondary for the Ravens, I wouldn't really say was an issue. I mean, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, there was other players they could have went with. But if you're looking from a pure standpoint of best available, that's what the Baltimore Ravens did, and they get a C for that. Buffalo Bills, 30th overall. They took Maxwell Hairston, cornerback out of Kentucky. Grade's going to be a C. Big thing here is I like Hairston. The big thing is Will Johnson was still available. I'm a big believer in Will Johnson. I know there's injury concerns with him, but, with those injury concerns, sometimes talent's got to outweigh that. And I feel like, 30th overall, you might as well take a shot on one of the best corners in the draft rather than Hairston. At 8th overall, the Carolina Panthers took Tedero McMillan, wide receiver out of Arizona. That's going to give them a grade of a B. And, there's nothing really wrong with that pick. Bryce Young needs weapons. He's got now Leggett and Tedero McMillan. So they're giving him weapons. We're doing everything they can to help Bryce Young succeed. Now it's just going to be a matter of them putting it all together. This was a shocking pick. I had Jalen Walker going there, as a lot of people did. But you can't go wrong with McMillan, so they get a B. The Chicago Bears, 10th overall, they went ahead and took Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. Their grade is going to be a C+. I understand the pick. They were talking about going out and getting a Caleb Williams, another weapon, whether it was Genty, whether it was Warren, whether it was Loveland. But Warren was still there, and he was the tight end 1 of this class. So, I understand the pick. I think Loveland will be fine. I think Ben Johnson will make it all work, but I would have preferred Warren over Loveland at pick 10. 17th overall, the Cincinnati Bengals selected Shamar Stewart, edge out of Texas A&M. I'm giving that a draft grade of a B. I know a lot of people aren't fans of him because of his lack of production in college, but, this guy, he is gifted athletically. And, I think if you really are looking down at it, with Trey Hendrickson on the other side, I feel like that's going to make it all the much easier for Stewart to actually put up the numbers that he couldn't in college. So I like that. I like that pick. Number 5, the Browns, they traded back with the Jags. They end up taking Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan. I like Mason Graham. I don't got a problem with that. They get a C- because of the fact that they traded back. They pretty much said they didn't want a chance at a generational talent in Travis Hunter. And, even then, when they had the 5th overall pick, Genty was still there. They need running back. Nick Chubb's a free agent. I just feel like trading back and then not even making the right pick when trading back hurts them. Dallas Cowboys, 12th overall, Tyler Booker, guard out of Bama. Grade is a C-. I felt like this was a little bit early. If this was what the Cowboys were wanting to do all along, you probably could have traded back and still got your guy, And the Cowboys are really good at developing linemen, so I don't know if 12th overall was really something that they should have jumped out of the gate to do because I wouldn't be surprised if they got a second-round guy and were able to develop him. The Cowboys are good at developing linemen. 12th overall is pretty high. The Denver Broncos, 20th overall, they took Jahad Barron, Jahad Barron, cornerback out of Texas. Grade is a B. I like this. He's opposite side of Surtain. They didn't fall for a wide receiver. I don't know. The wide receiver class is interesting here. They already got Cortland Sutton. It's hard to find a guy to complement him. So I like going defense. Can't go wrong there. They already got a good defense. Detroit Lions, 28th overall, take Tyleek Williams, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Grade is going to be a C-, mainly because I would have liked to see the Lions go edge as opposed to interior D-line. Getting a running mate with Aiden Hutchinson, that would be big, because the defensive line, they kind of already have a good interior lineman that they hit on in recent years, like in later rounds, but they add another weapon there. You can never have too many D linemen. Those guys are always switching, so it's not totally bad. Green Bay at pick 23, take Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas. Grade's going to be a B-. Now, I was watching NFL Network after the draft. I heard Steve Smith talk about this pick, and he said he kind of views it as the replacement for Christian Watson. So, at first, I was not a fan of this pick. It has kind of grown on me a little bit because Christian Watson can't stay healthy. So, if this is true that he's the Christian Watson replacement, as a Packers fan, I'd be cool with that because maybe Golden will be healthy and you got a guy on the field. So, that's good there. The Texans, they traded out with the Giants. We haven't talked about the Giants yet, but overall, the grade is just a D. They need wide receivers. They need O-linemen. There were still wide receivers and O-linemen at the time of their pick, especially O-linemen. Just the return that they got didn't really seem appealing based on what the Rams got for trading out of the first. So overall, with the trade and what was still available and the team needs, they get a D. I did not approve of that move. At 14, the Indianapolis Colts, they select Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State. The grade's an A here. With the Bears taking Loveland, that really opened it up for them. I originally had Loveland going to the Colts, but instead the Colts got the best tight end in the class, so you can't go wrong with that. It gives Anthony Richardson another weapon, a gadget guy. You could line him up a running back, line him up a quarterback sometimes. He's a great pass catcher, good blocker. So Tyler Warren at 14, that gets you an A. Jacksonville Jaguars, 2nd overall. They traded up with the Browns. They end up taking Travis Hunter, cornerback, wide receiver, whatever you want to call him, out of Colorado. The grade's an A+ here. Travis Hunter's a generational talent. No matter where you get him, if he went 1st overall, it'll be an A+. With the Jags doing what they had to do to go up and get him, I don't care what they gave up. Travis Hunter, he's as close as guarantee to a stud it comes in the draft. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't go wrong with that pick. Kansas City Chiefs at pick 32. They take Josh Simmons, offensive tackle out of Ohio State. Grade's going to be a B+. They really went ahead and they were even traded back. They had 31. They traded back, so they got an extra pick, and they still addressed their need. Mahomes got hit a lot in the Super Bowl. You get a guy that he's coming off a little bit of an injury, but should be good, and you address a need. So I like the pick there at 32. The Las Vegas Raiders, 6th overall. They took Ashton Jeanty, running back out of Boise State. Grade's going to be an A+. Same thing with Travis Hunter here. I don't care if you had to trade up for him, whatever. No matter where he went, it probably would have been an A to an A+. He's same situation. Ashton Jeanty, in my opinion, is as close as sure comes to a draft. I have no doubts in my mind that Jeanty and Travis Hunter will be studs in the league. And the Las Vegas got him. There was a need there as well. LA Chargers pick 22. They take Amarion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina. I'm going to give that a D solely because I didn't understand the draft pick. You go out and you sign Najee Harris. So you sign a running back just to use a first-round pick on a running back, especially when your best edge rusher, Joey Bosa, walks this offseason. So I don't really understand it. Definitely think they could have did better in the draft from the aspect of drafting for need, so they're going to get a D for that. Los Angeles Rams, no pick. They traded with the Falcons. And, the Rams, there were definitely guys on the board that they could have used, especially with them trying to win now. They need corner help. And Will Johnson, the best corner in the class, was still there after Travis Hunter. So, the return was all right. They got another first. I believe they got a second and then a seventh this year. So overall, not that bad of a trade. I like the return, but I would have rather had Will Johnson. Miami Dolphins, 13th overall. They took Kenneth Grant, D tackle out of Michigan. Grades a D. I like Kenneth Grant, but not at 13th overall. I feel like this was purely a reach. If they are serious about moving off of Jalen Ramsey, this would have been a perfect time to go out and get a corner to replace him. And hey, if you were set on going D-line, why don't you take Walter Nolan? I think Walter Nolan is much better than Kenneth Grant, but I'm grading him a D. The Minnesota Vikings, pick 24, take Donovan Jackson, guard out of Ohio State. Grade is a C. I feel like this was a bit of a reach, but on the bright side, I mean, they did draft for need. Sam Darnold was hit a lot last year, and now you're most likely going to be rolling with a rookie quarterback. One of the easiest ways to make it easier on him is giving him time, protecting him, making sure he's not getting hit a lot, and I feel like that's what their game plan here was. They got a position of need, so can't fault them there too much. New England Patriots, 4th overall, take Will Campbell, offensive tackle out of LSU. They're getting a B+ here. I mean, Will Campbell, his position of need, they needed help on the offensive line. They got the best tackle in the class, so that's good. Do I really think Will Campbell is a top 4 player in this draft? No, probably not. But, offensive linemen, they go early. If you're in need of an offensive lineman, everyone knows they go early in the draft. So the Patriots went out and got their guy. New Orleans Saints, 9th overall, they take Calvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle out of Texas. So that's going to be a grade of a B. I like this pick as well, especially with, I believe it was Ramczyk coming out and saying that he's retiring. So now they fill that hole on the offensive line. This is kind of the Ramczyk replacement, in my opinion. And, that works out well because if they do go a rookie quarterback in the second, the easiest way to help a rookie quarterback or a young quarterback is giving them a line, and it looks like that's what the Saints are trying to do. Next up, the New York Giants. They have picks 3 and 25. Pick 3, they got Abdul Carter, edge rusher out of Penn State. And then pick 25 when they traded back up for Jackson Dart, quarterback out of Ole Miss. And I'm going to give them a grade of an A. I like Dart. I like Abdul Carter. I like Dart in the situation of, I feel like he's a guy that needs to sit for a year. And with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, I don't think they're going to force him into the fire, give him a year to learn. So I like these moves for the Giants. They get an A. The Jets, 7th overall, they took Ahmad Membu, offensive tackle out of Missouri. Grade is a B. There was a need at the offensive line position for the Jets. They went out and addressed that. Membu was probably a little bit more sound of a tackle than Will Campbell was, just in the arm length aspect of it. But when it comes to production, he was about second. I think Will Campbell was better, but Membu only allowed 1 sack. Can't go wrong there. Philadelphia Eagles, 31st overall, Jahad Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama. Grade is an A. They moved up 1 spot, so there's that. They probably were worried about the Chiefs going out and getting him because the Chiefs, they go best available, as we've seen, and so did the Eagles. Campbell, he was supposed to go a lot higher, has a little bit of injury risks, but overall, I think it'll be fine to get one of the best linebackers, probably after Jalen Walker, so second best linebacker in the class. 31st overall, that's a big win for the Eagles. Pittsburgh Steelers at pick 21, they take Derek Harmon, D tackle out of Oregon. It's going to be a C+. Reasoning is, I would feel a little bit more comfortable with this pick if we had more of an insight as to what the Steelers wanted to do at the quarterback position. They still don't have a good quarterback on the roster, so I would have been okay with going a guy like Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart here because your quarterback is really uncertain. That was the only knock on that pick. San Fran, they end up with the 11th pick. They take Michael Williams, edge out of Georgia. Grade's going to be a C-. Just kind of felt like a little bit of a reach. If I was the 49ers, I would have rather took Jalen Walker at this pick. But hey, Williams, he's not bad. I think he'll work in well. I think he'll blend well with Nick Bosa on the other side. They kind of work off of each other, which is good, but just kind of feels like a little bit of a reach. If that's the guy they wanted, maybe explore options like trading back. Seattle Seahawks, 18th overall. Gray Zabel, offensive guard out of North Dakota State. Grades a B+. I like this pick. The Seahawks, they need help on the offensive line all over the place. Zabel can play anywhere you need him to, whether it's at guard, tackle, possibly even center. But with this pick, you really get some versatility here. Someone goes down, you could slot him in somewhere else. So I like this pick, addressing needs and getting a guy that can play everywhere. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 19th overall. They took Emeka Ibuka, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Grade's going to be a D. Now, I like Ibuka. I'm not holding that against him. I think he'll be a good NFL player. I just don't understand the logic here for the Bucs. They didn't lose a wide receiver. They brought Godwin back. So, you essentially use the 19th overall pick to take a wide receiver 3 when you lose your cornerback 1 and Will Johnson's there. It just didn't really add up to me. So, yeah, they're getting a D. Next up, Tennessee Titans, first overall, Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami. Grade's going to be a B. I would have preferred Travis Hunter over here just because there was 2 guys that were walks, in my opinion. But they needed quarterback. They went out and got the best quarterback available, so can't fault them there. Hopefully, Brian Callahan can build around Cam Ward, and Cam Ward can actually play well. Will Levis, he didn't work out that well, so hopefully it works out for them. Washington Commanders, 29th overall, Josh Conley Jr., offensive tackle out of Oregon. Grade is going to be a C. I would have liked to see them go defense here just because they did so much to address the offensive side of the ball in the offseason. But, overall, you can never go wrong with too many offensive linemen. They didn't exactly pick early, pick 29, so maybe they just went best available on their draft board. But overall, not too bad, not too good, so they're getting a C. So that wraps up the first round. Like I was saying, we had some guys fall. Some interesting names went early, Going here into day 2 today, you got Will Johnson still there. Ezra Raku's still there. Luther Burden's still there. Shador Sanders is still there. So, it was an interesting pick. I would not be surprised to see there being some movement early on in the second round to come up and get some of these guys. But go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how your team did and what you guys think of that pick. When it comes to this video, that's all we got. So if you enjoyed, please remember to like and sub for more Madden content. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.